atmospheric monitor for greenhouse gases on Mauna Loa, middle of the Pacific, and thought, what an elegant idea. I was inspired. I wanted to be a scientist. But that was in 1957, and you know, now we're over 400 parts per million, not a place we ever imagined we'd be. There are international negotiations, which I've been a part of, and we've accomplished a lot of necessary things. The land use change forestry framework, the guidelines, took the scientists decades to develop. And so there's a framework which British Columbia is replicating for these projects. But in these negotiations, you know, what's going to drive the change that will catalyze a real climate framework are catastrophes. And in the negotiations, you may have heard, it was all over the news in 2013, in 12 rather, Nadaref Sanyo, the chief negotiator for the Philippines, pleading not to vacillate, procrastinate, no more delays, no more excuses. If not now, when? If not here, then where? Not us. Who? You know, the chair from Qatar responded to him the next day. Well, we can wait for years. You're the ones that are in a panic. It's a really difficult dynamic. Last year, when at the climate negotiations, was right after Typhoon Haiyan, largest storm in history. So these kinds of catastrophes are going to drive climate action, and I found it hard to even listen to Nadaref's repeat appeal. But why that context? Sorry for the fuzziness here. Restoring the land, which is what this talk is about, and the framework in British Columbia, the opportunity for climate is to restore the land. It's too late to avoid catastrophic warming by reducing emissions alone. We need to remove greenhouse gases from the atmosphere. We're good at managing land. Half the people on this planet are farming, and there's an immense amount of carbon in the soil, and there can be more in both soil and plants. So the opportunity is there, and that's not just an opportunity for climate. Climate is not the only Earth system that is threatened. The other Earth systems, you may have seen the planetary boundary article in Nature. The Stockholm Resilience Center has been discussing all these other systems. They brought 25 scientists together to identify them, and they form the stable space in the last interglacial period of 10,000 years that has permitted this industrial civilization. The challenge is, with these other systems destabilizing, how do we rein them all in? And it happens that restoring the land will not only bring carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere, it will reduce the acidification of the oceans, it will increase biodiversity, it will clean the aerosol loading. Forests around cities will clean aerosol that's otherwise loading the atmosphere. It will reduce chemical dispersion in water and air, and etc. The nitrogen and phosphorus that's putrefying the Gulf of Mexico. We can actually, we've got projects to clean this in the wetlands at the mouth of the Mississippi. So everything except stratospheric ozone layer depleting substances, the ozone depleting substance, the Montreal Protocol, we're actually taking care of that. So we can have agreements, and land use change is the solution to all of these problems, and that's